Everybody talks about resilience like it's some magic personality trait. Like some people are just born tougher. Some people are just mentally stronger. Or some people are just built for harder things. I don't believe that. I think a lot of resilience comes from something far simpler, meaning. Because the truth is, life is hard. Leadership is hard. Responsibilities are hard. Marriage is hard. And if you don't know why you're carrying all that weight, over time, it can start to feel pointless. That's when people burn out. That's when people lose heart. That's when people start asking themselves, what am I even doing this for? When we were younger, a lot of us thought that money was the answer. We think if we just get more money, get better benefits, get more titles, or get more accolades, everything is just gonna click. And listen, money matters. I'm not one of those people who's gonna sit here and tell you it doesn't. Money gives you options. Money can buy time. Money can pay for those experiences and it can help you take care of your family. But money by itself isn't enough to carry most people through a hard life. And those titles, those aren't enough either. Trust me, I learned this the hard way. When I was early in my career, I did exactly what I was told to do and exactly what was expected of me. I got qualified. I worked hard. I got promoted fast and I checked all the boxes. And in my mind, I thought that title was going to be the thing that brought it all together. And when I finally made it and I got the title, sure, it felt good until the vanity wore off and the hard work started. That's when I realized something super important. That title, it wasn't strong enough to sustain me. It wasn't gonna motivate me when things got hard. That excitement started to fade, but the work, it was just getting started. The pressure started to build, the responsibilities stacked on top of each other, and the sacrifices started to come. And all of that forced me to ask the harder question. Why am I really doing this? Not what do I want to do next year, not what rank I want, not some paycheck I want, or some future title. I mean, why am I really doing this? What's all this hard work for in 10 years? 20 years? What kind of life am I trying to build for my family? What kind of legacy am I trying to leave behind? What kind of future am I trying to build for myself? I think your 20s are where it really starts to hit hard. Life comes at you quick after you turn 18. You have to work hard even to get marginal success. I call the 20s the shit gets real years, because you get thrown into the wild and life starts punching you in the face for the first time and you have to learn how to handle all of that. Those bills are real, the stress is real, your job is real, and the world, like I said, is not always kind. This is when people start to realize this isn't some video game or drill. This is real life. For me, around my 7-year mark, I started to figure out that I wanted to have a greater impact and something bigger for myself and for my family. During this time I was teaching, I was taking care of people, I was helping them grow. Over the next few years, what I really figured out is it wasn't the title that I loved. It was the teaching. It was the taking care of people, watching them grow, watching them succeed on a challenge that they had been training and trying for. And watching that success and knowing that I had a part of that I helped mentor them, was huge. That investment in people really fired me up. That's way deeper than that title, way deeper than ego, and way deeper than any applause. And on the personal side, I had another reason. I stayed in the military because I looked at my family and saw how hard they had to work. They're all tradesmen. They all had to work into their 60s, their 70s. But guess what? I did not want to do that. Me and my spouse did not want to do that. And having that pension at 40 years old was a huge stepping stone to me outgrowing the life I had left. That's when me and my wife, we made a decision. We chose, let's work hard now for a better tomorrow and making it earlier. That meant sacrifice. That meant deployments. That meant missing family events, carrying a lot of burdens that the average person doesn't understand. But it also meant building freedom. The goal was bigger than just getting through this week, this month, or even this year. The goal was to create freedom. So when me and my wife and my daughter, we retire, we can have that freedom to enjoy our time together, that financial freedom, the choice. That comboed with taking care of people is a motivational why. And that's the core lesson here. Your resilience will get stronger when the reason behind what you're doing gets deeper. If you're only working for the money, what happens when the job gets hard? If you're only working for the title, what happens when the praise goes away? What happens when you're only pushing for the image and life finds a way to humble you? You need something deeper, something personal, something honest, something that can still hold weight when life gets ugly. That's what gives people toughness. Not that fake toughness, not that social media toughness, real toughness and grit, and the kind that keeps going when motivation wanes. And as a leader, that matters even more, because if you don't know why you're doing what you're doing, eventually your team is going to feel it. They're going to feel your drift. They're going to feel your emptiness. They're going to feel when you're just going through those motions. They're going to feel when you're just leading because of your obligation and not your conviction. But when you know what you're building, when you know what matters to you, when your life has real meaning behind it, you lead differently. You get steadier. You get harder to shake. You get less distracted by that short-term pain. You get less distracted when there's less applause. And you get less emotional by those little setbacks because you're anchored. So how do you start figuring that out? Not with some perfect 5-step formula, that's for sure. Not that some motivational quote or some surface level agenda. You start by getting honest. Ask yourself, what kind of life am I actually trying to build? Who am I doing this for? What work gives me energy even when it's hard? What would make this struggle that I'm going through right now worth it in 10 years? For some of you, your meaning might be service. For some of you, it might be freedom. For some of you, it might be your family. Or for some of you, it might be like me, building and taking care of other people. But whatever it is, it needs to be yours. Not borrowed, not fake, not what sounds good online, yours. Because when those hard times hit, those borrowed agendas and those borrowed ideologies, they're going to fall apart. You're going to get tired. You're going to get overlooked. You're going to question yourself. You're going to go through seasons and seasons of your life where you're grinding and it feels like that goal is so far away. And in those moments, the question isn't, am I motivated today? The question is, do I have a reason strong enough to keep going anyway? That's what meaning really gives you. It gives suffering context. It gives sacrifice value. And it gives struggle direction. This is why I believe that personal meaning is one of the strongest ways to build toughness and build resilience. Because when you know why you're doing it, you can suffer through a lot more how you're doing it. If you've ever had the feeling of being stuck, lost, or you have no momentum, maybe the answer isn't that you need more hype. Maybe you need more clarity. You gotta stop asking, what do I want next? And start asking, what is all of this for? Because once you know that, you stop drifting and you become a whole lot harder to break. If this hit home for you, drop this comment. What's one thing in your life that gives the struggle meaning? That question might tell you more about yourself than you realize. And if you want more no nonsense, no BS leadership, subscribe to my channel. I drop a video every single week. Let's grow stronger together. I appreciate your time. Thanks for watching.